What if the dead could read the story of their own death and rewrite it? That is how Alan Wake 2 begins. A naked man washes up on Cauldron Lake. No name, no memory, only darkness under his skin. This is not just survival horror. It is an education in creative control and ownership. By the end of this video, you will see why. Chapter 1. Invitation is not only a must-play game moment, it is a lesson in discipline, patience, and long-term investment. This is PS5 Pro gameplay. Let's begin the recap. 13 years ago, Alan Wake 1 told the story of a writer trapped inside his own fiction. Every word he wrote came to life, turning imagination into danger. Alan lost his wife, his sanity, and his freedom inside the world he created. Now, in Alan Wake 2, Remedy Entertainment connects this universe to Control and Quantum Break. Together, they form what the studio calls the Remedy Connected Universe. Think of it like a portfolio, where each game represents a different asset in their creative economy. Remedy waited more than a decade to build this sequel because they refused to give up intellectual property. They could have licensed Alan Wake to another publisher and collected quick profit. Instead, they took the long route, building their own Northlight engine. It was a decision about ownership and compounding value. That principle applies beyond gaming. If you are creating anything meaningful, whether a YouTube channel, a business, or an idea, you must decide. Do you sell short-term convenience or build long-term equity? Alan Wake 2 exists because Remedy played the long game, and that is exactly where our story begins. The story begins with the discovery of a corpse. Robert Nightingale, an FBI agent from the first game, has washed ashore at Cauldron Lake. You play as Saga Anderson, a profiler who reads crime scenes like textbooks. Her partner, Alex Casey, is voiced by Sam Lake, the same man who once modeled as Max Payne. They arrive in Bright Falls, a town where mystery is part of daily life. Fog creeps between pine trees. Light flickers in the distance. Every sound feels alive, yet unreal. Inside the morgue, Saga begins her autopsy. She notes the wound in the chest, the marks on the hands. Suddenly, the lights flicker. The room hums with static. The corpse twitches and stands up, screaming. Nightingale has returned from the dead. This moment marks the true invitation into the dark place. A place where stories shape reality and perception cannot be trusted. Saga barely escapes and finds herself in a mental workspace called the Mind Place. It is a physical room inside her thoughts. Every clue, every theory, and every emotion she collects is pinned on a wall. This mechanic is more than gameplay. It is the visual representation of how the mind organizes chaos into clarity. When you stop and think about it, this is a lesson in structured thinking. Financial planners use charts. Writers use outlines. Saga uses her mind place. Remedy built this system to teach an invisible truth. You cannot defeat darkness by fighting everything at once. You overcome it by breaking the unknown into small, understandable pieces. The autopsy scene represents both death and rebirth. A failed investigation, revived by light and focus. The symbolism fits perfectly. In life, the darkest moment often comes right before understanding returns. Saga's flashlight cuts through the black fog, like reason breaking panic. And that is how Alan Wake 2 connects horror with education. It trains you to think in patterns, to pause before reacting, to look before judging. Alan Wake 2 runs at 60 frames per second in performance mode and 30 in quality mode at full 4K, HDR. The file size on PS5 Pro is about 92 gigabytes, and average completion time for this chapter is near 1 hour. Even among the best PS5 games of the year, this sequence stands out for stability, detail, and atmosphere. But what exactly happened in that morgue? Some fans believe Nightingale never returned from the dead. They think Saga entered one of Alan's unfinished manuscripts, that everything she sees is fiction being written in real time by a trapped author. If this theory is true, then nothing in her investigation is real. Every scream, every shadow, and every conversation is just Alan rewriting the same tragedy again and again. That concept is powerful. It mirrors the creative process and even the financial market. Both are loops of trial, error, and adjustment. We invest energy expecting growth, but every page, every trade, every project carries risk. In this story, the flashlight becomes a metaphor for focus. When Saga aims the beam, she eliminates false signals. It is not violence, it is clarity. In psychology and in money management, that principle is identical. Shine light on the numbers. Shine light on the thoughts. Darkness only wins when ignored. Remedy's writing team confirmed that Alan Wake 2 was designed to blend reality and metaphor. It wants players to question what is real. But underneath the mystery lies a practical reminder. Control your narrative, or someone else will write it for you. Did you know Sam Lake not only voices Alex Casey, but also wrote the script rhythm based on classic noir films from the 1970s? Remedy blends fact and fiction even behind the scenes, showing that creative consistency is their signature. This chapter is not only horror storytelling, it is a masterclass in creative resilience and risk management. Remedy Entertainment started in 1995 in Finland. A small group of developers from the demo scene built games as digital experiments. Their first big success, Max Payne, introduced slow motion and narrative focus. Later came Control, a study in bureaucracy and supernatural power. Now, with Alan Wake 2, they closed the loop. What makes Remedy different is ownership. They never sold their identity to a major publisher. They kept the intellectual property of their stories. They invested in their own Northlight engine to stay independent. That decision mirrors good financial strategy. Reinvest profit, build systems, own your tools. For creatives, this is the same as owning your brand. For investors, it is owning your capital. For gamers, it is owning your time and attention. Alan Wake 2 is not just a visual upgrade for PS5 Pro gameplay. It is the result of 15 years of patient reinvestment and smart management. A reminder that in both creativity and finance, real growth compounds quietly over time. Remedy turned storytelling into long-term value, and that is what separates them from studios chasing short-term trends. Alan Wake's curse is losing authorship. Saga's strength is regaining it. The same battle happens in every field. When you stop leading your life, someone else starts writing it. The darkness in Alan Wake is not evil for the sake of evil. It is distraction, chaos, and doubt. In finance and education, these are the same forces that stop progress. Debt, impulse, fear of failure. Saga's mind place teaches focus. Every clue is a data point. Every wall of evidence is a structured plan. That is the same process used in personal finance. You map what you know. You identify what you can control. You build clarity. Success is not an explosion. It is repetition. 1,000 small choices made correctly under pressure. In this way, Alan Wake 2 becomes a metaphor for compound growth. Each light you shine extends visibility. Each disciplined action strengthens control. Remedy hides an educational framework inside a thriller. To survive, you must think like an investor. To progress, you must learn like a student. To win, you must persist like a writer. This is what makes Alan Wake 2 a must-play game, not only for entertainment, but for self-improvement. It shows how creativity, focus, and patience generate real returns in any area of life. The message is universal. Control your attention, master your tools, keep your light steady. So if you could rewrite your own life the way Alan rewrites his stories, would you do it? Some players think Saga is real. Others believe she is fiction created by Alan's desperate mind. Which side are you on, writer or reader? Some fans say the dark place represents creative debt. Others see it as burnout and self-doubt. Comment below and choose your side, debt or burnout. The best ideas will appear in the next episode. And if you enjoy cinematic reviews, educational gaming analysis, and lessons about creativity and finance, subscribe to PS5 Gameplay Hub. We explore the must-play games that teach real-world skills through story design. Next week, we step into the dark place. Alan's chapter begins, and the shadows start talking back. We will break down how creative debt mirrors financial debt, and how redemption happens through action, not luck. Stay disciplined, stay curious, and stay in the light.